في الدين والدنيا والآخرة توفنا مسلما والحقنا بالصالحين. اللهم إنا نسألك موجبات رحمتك. اللهم إنا نسألك يا حي يا قيوم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام خير هذا الصباح وخير المسجد هذا يا ربنا يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من نفس لا تشبع وعلم لا ينفع وقلب لا يخشع ودعاء لا يسمع. يا رب العالمين يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلبي على قلوبنا على دينك وطاعتك ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين ومن أقل من ذلك. ربي يسر ولا تعسر، ربي تمم بالخير، ربي زدني علما وفهما والحقنا بالصالحين والحمد لله رب العالمين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My respected brothers and very respected sisters, thank you for waiting. Unfortunately, sometimes in life, certain things happen and they've got nobody else except to disturb the Imam. Yalla, go. So you need to go. And sometimes it could be a false alarm. The other day, they called me to the hospital in the middle of the night. They said, there is a man who's dying, Turkish. Please come. None of the other Imams are responding. You're the only one. So I went. The guy's in coma. I began to read. After 2 hours of reading, he said to me, what are you doing? I said, I'm reading. You were dying. He says, I don't need your Quran. Oh. I said, what's your name? He gave me his name. I said, where are you from? He told me one particular city, Shorum. He was an Alawi, an extreme form of Shia, that even Shia themselves regard them as kafir. How am I supposed to know? What a wasted effort. And after 10 minutes, his children turned up. And they I could not recognize. I mean, you can't tell them that they're Muslims. Nothing to do with Islam. So this morning is one of those mornings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you also forgive me for allowing you to wait. So we are going through this particular program on our greatest enemy, the enemy within. As Yusuf alayhi salam, through his words in the Quran, Surah Yusuf 53, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna nafsa la ammaratun bisu illa ma rahim rabbi. There is a being within us that constantly compels us, constantly forces us to do evil, incite evil. أعدى عدوك التي بين جنبيك, says Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is an enemy within your collars, beneath your collars, regarded as your greatest enemy, and regarded as your greatest enemy. And this is fardu ayn upon every sane Muslim, adult Muslim, to combat for the rest of their lives. The enemy within. The one that controls everything, your emotional center, where by default, by design, this nafs does not accept, does not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or it thrives on adulation, on praise, what people say about you, your reputation is everything. But it doesn't want to do any ibadah, it doesn't want to do any worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is something that it is compulsory for us to combat. It is fardu ayn. It is not something that only certain people have to do it. And you cannot tell from outside whether that person has a good nafs or a bad nafs. Because from outside, he looks like a sheikh. Inside, he is the biggest shaitan. Sometimes even shaitan, alayhi la'na, our external enemy, they get together. When they get together, may Allah help us all. Yes, you become like a stooge, a plaything, a clown in their hands. You can't control anything. You know what is right. You know what is halal. You know what is haram. You know what is right and wrong. And yet, you give a lecture about it, but you still go and do it because it forces you to do it. Its comfort zone is the haram zone. Its comfort zone is the laziness zone. Its comfort zone is where his desires are met. 5 levels that we spoke about before. Shahwatul Batan, the first desire that sets in. Nothing in the body works except the stomach. The baby is born with it. He doesn't know, he doesn't function in any of his faculties except his mouth. When he grabs onto the nipple of the mother, khalas, finished. He's happy. If not, he starts crying. It's by design. And later on, when he hits puberty or she hits puberty, discovers the second, shahwatul farj, the desire for the opposite gender, desire for sex. Then, when they hit a certain age, with right thinking, justification, become smart, then they want to accumulate wealth. Day and night, working, studying, career path. Yes, they want to make more money because when they have access to more money, they have access to the things they want to do more. And oh, I've got kids, I've got family, I need to look after them. Islam says you should. I mean, of course you should look after them. But when the greed comes in, when you can never satisfy those desires, the guy owns, so many houses. He's got so many cars. He's got so many dollars, so much dollars in his account, still greedy. He's got money to last him 20 generations after, but still he wants more. This is human nature. This is the Nafs's nature. Then what was the next level? Who's going to tell me? Love of recognition. Love of recognition. He says, I'm a successful doctor. If you don't call me doctor, I'll be upset with you. You need to address me with my title. I'm the richest man in the town. So where they normally go? They go to Islamic societies and become a bala upon the Muslims, the Ummah. I can rule you guys and fix all your problems. Give me the power. They sit on that chair with a super glue and they never come out until they die. Recently, one of them did. I was making dua for years. Ya Rabbi, please get rid of this person so the Muslim Ummah can benefit. They can develop. He'll sit. He's been sitting there for 45 years. He will never do anything and he'll never let anybody do anything else. He wants to be in control. This is Nafs al-Ammara. Then eventually, Hubbur Riyasa, love of leadership, where he wants to be in charge of everything. We gave examples of who? Suharto, Sukarno. Yeah? We gave examples of Yeltsin. We gave examples of Anwar Sadat. What's his name, the other one? Saddam Hussein. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it so special that you need to rule the country. There's nobody better than you. No, he has to rule because that's his possession now. It is not good for people to just to praise you. You want people to love you. That's not good enough. Loving is not good enough. You want people to worship you. The ultimate archetype of this particular level is Fir'aun alayhi la'na. During the time of Musa alayhi salam, it's in the Quran. What did he say to the people? Ana Rabbukumul A'la. I am your greatest God. Is there anybody who's better than me that you can worship? That's how Nafs al-Ammara is. And is across the board. This is everywhere, in the heart of every single Muslim. I mean, not Muslim or non-Muslim. Every single human being. Whether they live in the jungles of New Guinea or live in Eskimos in Alaska, or they live in the city of New York or Istanbul or Mecca. Unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, illa ma rahima rabbi, unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects you from the evil of this particular being within you, who declared its godhood with a small g, yes, we will be a plaything in its hands. This is the human picture. But why Islam is here? Islam is here to correct this, transform this nafs, to give tarbiyah to this nafs, tazkiyah to this nafs, to purify this nafs, because we are human beings who are in between angelic realm and the animal realm, in between. If proper tarbiyah is given to us, we can rise above al-a'la al-'illiyin, higher than the high, and become better than the angels with proper training. We have that potential, that duality. But if it's neglected, in our outside form, it's irrelevant. But in our inner spiritual center, we sink asfal as-safilin, lower than the low, bal hum adall, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, lower than the four-legged beings. We become the greatest enemies. Who destroys the environment? The animals? No, human beings. Who exploits others? Who causes wars? Just whims and wishes. Thousands of people die. What's his name? The guy, the Chinese leader? Chairman what? It is said that he killed, in order to be in power, 37 million of his people. Slaughtered 37 million people. Australia is 23 million. Add another 10 on top, 33. Yeah? Another 4 on top, another 15 million. Can you imagine? He killed everybody in Australia in order to be in charge. Where is he now? Gone, like every other Fir'aun before. Because the reality is that we will give this particular ruh, the amana, back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nafs is not a static nature. Nafs constantly changes. One of the du'as of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is, Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinika wa ta'atik, wa la takilni. Allah, O the revolver of the hearts, keep my heart steady in your path. Wa la takilni ila nafsi. Please, Ya Rabbi, I beg you. Who's saying this? Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose nafs did not have anything to do with anything. He's just teaching us. وَلَا تَكِلْنِي إِلَى نَفْسِي. Do not leave my nafs in the hands of my what? Do not leave me in the hands of my nafs. How long? Couple of days? No. طَرْفَةَ عَيْنٍ. Just a blink of an eye. Even a duration less than that, he says. What? Or just blinked. In 1 minute, how many? 30, 40 times we blink? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, just to emphasize the importance of this particular issue and the importance of combating our nafs. Man or woman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will test you. Fitna or fitan is the general word. Your wives and children are fitan for you. What does that mean, man? Evil? No. It can be a source of evil if you lose your focus. Your own beauty can become your fitna. I'm the most gorgeous girl amongst Indonesian community. All the boys are looking at me. We'll see in 7 years' time. Yeah? Every woman sitting here, they used to admire themselves in front of the mirror. Where are they now? Alhamdulillah, they're sitting here more beautiful. Yes? According to their husbands. Am I doing the right things? Saying the right things? Yes. Oh, the boys in the mirror, in front of the mirror. Who's this? Who's saying this? It's me, Ana. Ana. Ana is from Shaitan, as ulama will teach. Shaitan says, Ana khayrun min. I am better than him. He's arrogant. He's got lots of pride. He's full of himself. And yet it is worthless. worthless, with this makeup that we carry on our faces, in our hearts, in our image. If our nafsul ammara stays as is without any transformation, without any tarbiyah, we'll never be able to enter Jannah. In Jannah, you will never find any arrogant people, any bakhil people, stingy people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before He puts into Jannah, He takes all of those things from you. You have to go through this tarbiyah. It is fardu ain. And we also said how many levels of nafs there are? We need to go through the process. Who's going to tell me? Remember this one? Memorized it? Please memorize it. Because there is no other. This is how our ulama have studied, how our Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us, how Quran presents the human being. Not the Arabs, not the Turks, not the Indonesians, but the human being. We're all born at the first level. Nafsul ammara. The nafs that constantly compels you to follow its carnal or whatever desires. Those 5 levels. No matter who you are, you're born with this. Hunger, basic instincts, they call it. Yeah? The second level is nafsul lawama. It is actually the regretful nafs of a Muslim. The first one has how many? 13, 14 qualities, or 12 qualities, depending on which one you're reading. First two is kufr and shirk. That belongs to nafsul ammara. The second one has everything else that nafsul ammara has except kufr and shirk. That's the level of a Muslim. When he sins, he feels guilt, but he can't control it. He makes tawbah, he cries and his heart out, and after 2 days later, he does exactly the same thing again. Yeah, lawama. They constantly blames itself. He says, "What have I done? That was wrong." Feels guilt. His wijdan, his heart is constricting. But these are terrible nafs. That's nothing good. The third level, mulhima, is when you receive ilham. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran also. Surah Al-Fajr. Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutma'inna, which is the 4th level. Until you reach the level of mutma'inna, it is impossible for you to be any good. You'll be oscillating. Just a little side note I give you. Other religions, other spiritual oriental religions, like some of the Hindus, they reach a thing called nirvana. Yeah? They begin to see things, supernatural things. They do supernatural feasts. They walk on fire. They fly in the air. Yeah? They perform certain things with their minds. They eat fire. Nothing happens. This is the 3rd level. Shaitan has full access to this particular level and make you think that you are above everything else. In Islam, that nafs is no good. The next level is the flat line. No more zigzags. You are in a straight environment where you're walking. The other ones, you are in the chaos of the waves in an ocean. Sometimes you hit the shore, back into the water again. Sometimes you hit the shore, back into the water again. Back and forth, your nafs will play games with you. It's very dangerous. We went through this. And mutma'inna. The next one is better. Next one is even better. And the last one is the highest. And there is one more. Sometimes the last one and the very last one that I'm going to say, nafsul safiya, they say it is the nafs of Anbiya alayhimus salam. The nafs of the prophets, where there is none of these imperfections are there. They are protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the beginning. They do not sin. That's why we say Anbiya alayhimus salam, they do not sin. They are infallible. What does that mean? All human beings sin? No. Prophets don't. Why? Sinning is an act of defiance against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Simple definition of sin is you act defiantly, rebelliously against a particular command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What's the chance of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying to his friends, tonight, inshallah, boys, let's go to a wedding, and in the wedding we'll have some whatever the haram drink the people drink. We'll enjoy ourselves tonight. And the Prophet was teaching you it was haram to drink. Now at night is drinking. To believe that any of the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sinful, they have sinned, is you have a shortcoming in your aqidah. What you're actually saying is that Allah was not capable of selecting somebody to represent him who is perfect or protect him. So we can never attribute any form of imperfection to any of the Anbiya alayhi salam, like the Christians do. They say that Dawood alayhi salam had committed zina. They say there's something else, he did something else. They attribute these harams to the prophets, which is impossible according to Islam. So except their nafs, which is nafs al-safiyah, the pure one, everybody can go through this process through a particular method in Islam that is called ilm al-ihsan, ilm al-tasawwuf, or ilm al-tazkiyah. Not personally, it is impossible. You need to have a doctor, somebody who can treat you, hold you by the hand. He's not God, na'udhu billah, but he's just a doctor, and he will take you through the process of this tazkiyah, this purification. The Hindus, there may be some Greek mystics or some African the spirituals, the ones who are stuck in nafs al-mulhima will never be able to pass because they don't have a sheikh to take them out of that rot, in that bewilderment, in that forest of darkness and lights and magic. Only in Islam, this process becomes a complete path. It's called sayr and suluk. Yes, sayr and suluk, until you reach to that final destination. This is theoretically very easy to understand, perhaps, but it is the most difficult task any man or women faces in the world. Therefore, it is imperative. It is fard upon every child, every mother, every husband, every Muslim to learn and practice and be challenged by it every day of their lives. Fajr is, who doesn't know that Fajr is fard? But sometimes we hit the alarm, says, yeah, inshallah, I'm getting up. Who's saying this? Nafs al-ammara. Get up. You say get up, it's haram. Jahannam. Inshallah, I'm getting up. Get up? No. Oh, that extra bit of cake in the corner, ice cream. If it's, what do you call? What flavored? Durian flavored. May Allah help you all. The other, my intention, inshallah, in this course, to go through the process of at least nafsul ammara, which is fard, nafsul lawama, if I can, if we have the time. I don't know how long it's going to take. Perhaps nafsul mulhima, briefly touch upon. Nafsul mutma'inna, beyond me, because I'm not at that level. Neither I'm at the other level. My nafsul ammara is worse than everybody else. Yeah. So, inshallah, we will learn together what we have learned from our masters, our teachers, our shuyukh. There are parts of purifying, parts of tazkiyah. There are parts, ways of purifying our soul. I will even give you a challenge afterwards. Let's see what you do with yourself. It's very scary. When my teacher put me into this path to do this test, I could not sleep for 2-3 days. I could not handle it. It is so real. But this particular aspect of human psyche, so to speak, is not even touched by the Western psychology. We will make a comparison, inshallah, very soon. But our ulama has written volumes upon volumes on this issue, on Nafsul Ammara. Until you kill your Nafsul Ammara, you are in danger zone. But if you kill yourself, you die. No. When they say kill your nafs, it's a figurative killing. Beat your nafs. When the young man had a basketball game, they said, we killed the other team, mate. You did not murder anybody. You just beat the game. Yeah. Similarly, you need to beat your nafsul ammara. You can't kill your nafsul ammara. You need to make it dormant. You need to make it ineffective. Like Shaitan alayhi la'na. He's created for a purpose, to deviate you. That's his job. Nothing else. He hates you. Inna shaitan lakum adu fattakhidhuhu aduwa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in shaitan there is such an animosity and hatred against you, and therefore also regard him as your number one private and public enemy, says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's in the Quran. Shaitan is a shaitan, is a shaitan. How about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam shaitan? Did he have a shaitan? Yes, he did. And they asked him, Ya Rasulullah, do you have a shaitan? He says, yes, I have. But what does he do? He says he has submitted. Aslamu. Literal meaning is that he has submitted. He's given up on me, in other words. It's impossible. He says, I've got the worst guy in the world. How am I going to deviate him? Because he's protected constantly. So he says, instead of the ulama have three different meanings to this one. He says, Aslam, in other words, he became a Muslim. Or he submitted to me. Or thirdly, he says, he's so given up hope that he's telling me, good, do this good, do this good, do this good. Impossible for shaitan to penetrate into the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But everybody else has this particular problem. Enemy outside, without, enemy within. Enemy within is called what? Nafsul Ammara. Constantly commanding. Evil self. Commanding nafs. Domineering nafs. Nafs that incites to evil. Inna nafsa la ammaratum bisu. Ammara is a verb. Exaggerated form in Arabic. The word amara, commanded, appears so many times in the Quran. Only one time appears as in this format called ammara, because, and describing what? Nafs. It never gives up and constantly commands you, incites you to do evil. We went through this. Nafsul Ammara thrives on praise. If you don't praise a person, they go into depression. If you say that, if you don't say to them, you're good, you're nice, you're beautiful, we love you. Nobody loves me, everybody hates me. They even commit suicide at the worst level. It is something that, alhamdulillah, if somebody praised you 15 years ago, and if you happen to see that person later on, immediately go to him. Remember me? I'm that person. If somebody told you off, they told you the things that you needed to know, not wanted to hear, you avoid that person even after 15 years. It is such a deep-seated desire, this one. Need of nafs is pure adulation. And Islam is shunned. You can't praise a person to their face. Part of our adab. You can praise him behind his back. So that as long as he does not hear, she does not hear, MashaAllah, he's a good person. He's a generous person. Say, oh, mashallah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, maddahin. The people who make madhiyah to you. If maddahin begin to speak to you, begin to praise you to your face, he says, grab a soil from the ground and chuck it to their face. But Nafsul Ammar is so tricky. I was at the mosque, Kabak Mosque, I never forget. One brother began to do this sin of praising somebody to his face. That person is a very good person, an alim, scholar. He put his head down, the one who's being praised. He's listening. He said, brother, wallahi, all the things that you said to me, said about me, I don't have it, but keep going, it sounds good. That's how Nafs is. He's trying to teach us a lesson. We love. If the husbands don't say to the wives, I love you, that's the end of marriage. She will start disrespecting the husband, which is the greatest need of the nafs of husband. When he feels that he's been disrespected by the wife, what does he do? Respond? Not saying I love you to the wife. And what does the wife do? You see, he doesn't love me anymore. There is no love in our marriage anymore. Yeah. And she becomes a completely different person. So it becomes a vicious cycle. Islam acknowledges this. Therefore, between husband and wife, you're constantly supposed to say to your wife, I love you. Yes, to get the marriage going. Whether you mean it or not is a different story. Yes? And she deeply must show that respect with attitude, if not words. Yes? That I acknowledge that you are the head of the house and I respect you. Alhamdulillah, shukrillah, you are the greatest ni'mah upon us. You are even allowed to lie in this regard between husband and wife. The guy brings the lady brings, an old lady brings a cup of tea like this one to the husband, and he says, oh, quickly, can you forgot sugar? He says, oh, go and bring it. She says, no, just put your little finger in it, it'll be all sweet. Sure, nobody put a little finger in this one. Yeah. And she says to him, oh, you are exactly the same person, even more gorgeous than the day I married to you. He's 7 years old. She's lying, but this kind of lie between husband and wife to make the marriage happy, yeah, is permissible. Permissible, not a problem. But to the children, when we are encouraging them to do, oh, you are the best, mashallah, come on, you can do it. The child motivated. But you don't go around to a Muslim and say, you are the best Muslim. You're going to go to Jannah and you're going to do this. No. You can acknowledge that what they've done is well done to give some merit, but they should not feel proud because everything's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tawadu', opposite of kibr, one of the diseases that we'll go through inshallah ta'ala. Tawadu' is humility. You need to acknowledge where it came from. It's all from who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The desire for power, praise and adulation, even to be worshipped, is a typical at the stage of nafs al-ammara. Each and every one of us, within us, there is this Fir'aun. The moment that Fir'aun has any means to activate, put into practice those desires, immediately will act upon. Oh, no, I changed my mind. I want to be a Fir'aun. I don't want to be a Fir'aun. Everybody's a Fir'aun in their own way. That's how it is. Now, we talked about the dragon within last time, if you can remember. Maulana Jalaluddin al-Rumi, when he spoke to us about a particular hunter who went to the mountains and he discovered in one of the caves, high, cold, a frozen dragon. He was so excited, he brought the dragon in to the township in Baghdad. And when the heat began to hit the ice, what happened? Dragon became alive and he killed everybody. The analogy was, you can't kill this dragon within called Nafs al-Ammara. You need to freeze it. You need to lay it dormant so it does not have any impact upon other people, negative impact. Because by nature, by design, a dragon is a dragon is a dragon. You cannot change the nature of the dragon. Scorpion is a scorpion. What was it in old fables? Was it a tortoise or a fish passing through the river, they're swimming across? Scorpion says, can you please help me to pass through? I drown, I can't swim. Was it a frog? A frog. Yeah, right at the end, when they're about to get to the other side, what does the scorpion do? Kill him. He says, what? But you promised. He says, I can't change my nature. That's me. You can never change the Nafs al-Ammara nature. When we say we killed our nafs, it means we have completely transformed our nafs, went through a tarbiyah. One sheikh, spiritual master, he kept on saying, in one lesson after so many years, he said, he looked at himself like this, he says, I thought you were dead. I thought you were fine. You are amazing. He's talking to himself. The other student says, why is the sheikh talking to himself? They asked him, why? What are you saying to this yourself? He said, I thought I killed you. Apparently there was a new sheikh in the block. And he is accumulating, taking some of the students of his, the sheikh here is already established. New sheikh from Yemen. So he's established a new school, a new surah, new madrasa, and all the students are beginning to go to him. Now he's feeling hasad, he's feeling envy in his heart. He says, I thought I killed you 30 years ago. You mean you are still there? Because it never changes. You can control it. Some people have more hasad, difficult to control. Some people have less hasad. But all the negative qualities of Nafs al-Ammara is always within us. We've got the little seedlings. Some this much, some this much, some empowers the whole thing. Shahwa is the last quality of Nafs al-Ammara, not the attribute, not a quality, negative quality. If it's over domineering to a Muslim, he becomes a dirty old man. At the age of 60, 70, still committing zina. But some people never even think of zina. But when it comes to money, oh, they want more. But Baba, you have got everything. No, I want more. Greed. Yes? Tama'a. One of the diseases of Nafs al-Ammara. So one might have one of it more, one might have one of it more. When you control everything, lay it dormant, freeze it up like the dragon, it becomes harmless. Otherwise, if you were to do the wrong thing, you wake up the dragon within, it causes that harm to you. Musa alayhi salam, this analogy is always given by our ulama. Fir'aun is the archetype of nafs, pure and simple. Musa alayhi salam is our good side. Every day he used to go and speak to Fir'aun. Fir'aun listens to him. Musa alayhi salam is not a simple person. He's not somebody off the street. He was trained by the Fir'aun in the palace. He's educated with his brother Harun, with the argumentation he will put through. Subhanallah, plus the magic that he has in his hand with his staff. Yeah, he will convince the truth. Of the truth, what's his name? Fir'aun. He says, yeah, okay, let me think about it. The following day, he'll come back and says, nah. Nafs al-Ammara will take over. Montgomery Watt, one of the Western scholars, he says, in my eyes, the greatest person, he's a non-Muslim. In my eyes, after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he doesn't say Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the greatest person that Islam has produced is who? Abu Hamid al-Ghazali. Imam Ghazali, we call him. Correct? He says, in my eyes, he is the highest after the Prophet, because he's the one who initiated. Then he says, Imam Ghazali, if you were to look at his autobiography, simple, almost in every book that he has published, there is a section about 5-6 pages about simple story life of him. He was at the greatest, most prestigious university in the Islamic kingdom at that time. What's the best university in Melbourne? Must be La Trobe. Yeah, or Victoria University? No. Melbourne Uni, medicine, law. They say, I do medicine at Melbourne University. Even the way they say it. Why? It's the same building, same what? But it has Nizamiya University was the best university in the world. And guess who was Imam Ghazali? He was the head mudarris. He's the rector, director. He is the professor that when he walked outside, people will flock and give salams to him. He is at the highest of his profession. But he was battling with his nafsul ammara. He knows Islam inside out. He's written over 300 books on the most difficult subjects. They say if you were to divide the number of books that he has written in his life, pages, to the number of days he has in his life that he lived, he has written over 60 pages per day. What kind of an alim is this? We're talking Imam Ghazali. He's got some letters, maktubat. He writes, he says, a time has come in my life where I am at the highest, most prestigious job. He's got the highest pay. He's got the highest reputation. He's got the highest respect. He's a Muslim. He says, but I still fall on my face, I do haram. I sit down and talk to my nafs. From ayah, from hadith, I convince myself that what I'm doing is wrong and I should make tawbah, and I make tawbah. He says, comes a couple of days later, I fall on my face again. And I convince myself, ayah, hadith, this is haram, what you're doing. I give nasihah to myself. And my nafs says, yes, you're right. Yes, I accept. But comes a couple of days later, he falls on his face again. He says, I cannot understand this duality, and this double nature, this hypocrisy. He says, what am I going to do? Eventually, he left his maqam. He says, I was going to Hajj. He never came back for 10 years. Yes, he never came back to the university again. He went into one particular place in Sham, a minaret, the old Shami minarets, where it's large. He went into one of the corner for 10 years in seclusion, in khalwa, going through this tazkiyah process. 10 years. Then after that, once he went through these levels, under the guidance of a particular doctor, so to speak, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened this path. No more zigzags, no more nafs controlling him, but he is controlling, he's frozen his nafs. He wrote his Ihya Ulumuddin, his magnum opus, that still today gives the fine details, published in almost every language. Imam Ghazali. Even Imam Ghazali, who knows so much, in other words, knowledge is not enough, theory is not enough. You need to go through this process in the most practical manner. You can talk about the disease of the liver. You can talk about diseases of the kidney. You can talk about the diseases of your, lungs. And you can even self-diagnose. But unless you do something about it, you shall always be sick, always be sick, always be sick. Correct? Therefore, Musa alayhi salam used to convince the Fir'aun during the day, the following day he'll change his mind. We do have convinced ourselves of the truth. Does anybody not know that Islam is the truth? Quran is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does anybody in here does not believe in hereafter? That there is Jannah and Jahannam? There is Hisab? Does anybody in this room do not believe there is Raqib and Atid? Angels are constantly writing and recording. There is no such thing as being alone. Angels are always watching and all angels are always writing. Why don't we behave according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says? Why are we doing haram things? When we are alone, when we are sometimes with the wrong environment, wrong friends, why do we do it? Knowingly. Tell me here, who doesn't lie in this room? I'm a Muslim, I don't lie, brother. It's haram, mashallah. Telephone rings. You don't want to talk to the man? Your kid picks up the phone and you say, oh, tell him I'm not here. Baba, you're here. What am I going to say? You're teaching me how to lie? But tell him that I'm not here. What do you mean I'm not here? You're lying. Lying. They call it white lie, pink lie, yellow lie, whatever lie is. But lie is a lie is a lie. We know lying is haram. Who doesn't lie? This is the grip, the control of Nafs al-Ammara over you. Until you go through this process of tazkiyah, you will never be able to ever, wallahi, ever be free from the clutches of Nafs al-Ammara. By design, the scorpion will always sting you. You'll make an agreement with him at night before the river, when passing through, when you come to the middle, it'll sting you. It'll always take you down. Because Nafs al-Ammara does not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, your heart says, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, but your nafs says no. No. Nafs al-Ammara. Nafs al-Ammara has the power to hypnotize us. We constantly forget. Insan is afflicted by nisyan. Insan, nisyan, forgetfulness. Oh, we are so spiritually high this moment. Comes tomorrow afternoon, maybe 3 hours after, we see something, we hear something, our hearts change. Once it changes, what happens? We're back to the rot again. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us all. To change for Nafsul Ammara is the last thing in its mind. To change the old habits of a person is the most difficult. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Nafsul Ammara is the oldest dog. We've been carrying it for 20, 30, 40 years. Will not change. We will not want to leave our comfort zone. We're happy as we are. We're lazy. Yes, we love sleep, we love to eat, we love to be praised. These are comfort zones. But Islam says change. What change? I don't want to change. Yeah, I'll attempt a little bit, but it's so scary. I don't want to change. Unless you put your faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam properly, teachings of Islam properly, that change will never come. The Jews, Bani Israel. We heard that beautiful story yesterday. A storyteller, a sister from Jordan, came to our madrasa yesterday, gave us the story of Musa alayhi salam. Children loved it. Beautiful. I suggest you listen to it. Today there's a program in Roeville. She's doing the same thing with another school. Can you imagine a group of people who's been for generations slaves, and they worship false gods, idols? But children of Israel, from the 12 tribes of Yusuf alayhi salam, with his brothers, yeah, under the leadership of one of the greatest prophets of Allah, Musa alayhi salam, they've been saved. They come to the edge of Red Sea. It is said that the Red Sea did not split open, according to our ulama, until one of the Israelites actually trusted Musa alayhi salam and put his foot into the water. As soon as it touched, it opened up. Until then, nothing was happening. Until you put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Nabi, teachings of Islam, and the ulama al-kiram, ulama al-haq, the true ulama, nothing will change in your life. And Well, it opened up such a miracle. Wonderful, fantastic. They went to the other side. Has this story finished? All of a sudden, they all became good Muslims? Wallahi, no. Even before that, how? Because they used to worship who? Idols. Samiri, the stories in the Quran. When Musa alayhi salam talking to Allah subhanahu on top of the mountain, yes, his followers downstairs are collecting gold amongst themselves to make an idol so they can worship. It's a habit. They can't get rid of it. All generation. They went into that particular Sahara, in that particular desert. They had one of the Ulul Azm, one of the greatest prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the wahi is there. Miracles they have seen. Salwa wal manna was salwa. They get what do you call automated food machinery. I mean, I don't know. You can relate to perhaps just press the button and get it out. But without pressing anything, morning and evening, twice a day for 40 years, food appears in front of them. They eat, and all of a sudden, food disappears. There's only one rule. What is the rule? You can eat as much as you want, but you cannot put aside, store up any food. Being a human nature, that generation, because they came from poverty, they used to take and hide and put it into some corner. They'll all rot before the next day meal. This is human nature, to be greedy, because we don't trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He's ar-razzaq kulli shay. Allah promises our rizq. He does not need any sustenance from us, but He gives all of our sustenance. He says, no, 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 no. Bakhil person, stingy person is a person who does not trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that if he were to spend it on other people, Allah will not give him again. This is an aqeedah issue. This is nafs. For 40 years, that generation, the old generation, still did not transform. But there was a new, completely new generation in that 40 years. New marriages. The children were born. And those children in the desert, they never saw the time of Fir'aun. They never saw any of the atrocities they went through. They never suffered in the hands of the Fir'aun, but they were in the tarbiyah of who? The greatest sheikh of his time? Nabi Musa alayhi salam, the tarbiyah. So that generation came out of the desert as the representatives, the chosen people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not the chosen people, so-called, in the desert, who used to constantly argue with who? Musa alayhi salam. Once you got your habit, whatever that habit is, it'll take years with constant vigilance to overcome. And sometimes you'll fail. That's why our ulama, they'll tell us certain habits can only be washed away when you put on that janaza musalla table to be washed. In other words, until you die, it'll be with you. Until you die, it'll be with you. Who doesn't know the harms of smoking? Sheikh says haram. Islam says haram. It says haram. Haram. He smokes. He says, I hate it so much. Let me burn another one. As if he makes a joke out of it. But as soon as he hits a heart stroke, he hits what do you call some heart attack, the non-Muslim doctor says, if you smoke some more, you're going to die. Out of fear, he stops everything. You mean you believe in the doctor, but you don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala haram command? What's wrong with you? This is human nature. Our comfort zones is everything to us. In other words, our habits control everything to us. Nafs works on auto level, autopilot. 5 minutes, not even 10. I'm going to finish. I read faces. That one's sleeping. That one's sleeping. This one's sleeping. That one's already seeing other dreams. Yeah. Inshallah. Unless you put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not hold the waters back to you, will not open the doors for you. As simple as this. It is never and ever easy for us to escape the domination, control of Nafs al-Ammara, no matter what you say to yourself. Convince yourself of. No. I gave you the example of the Sheikh. He says, after 30 years, I thought you were dead. You rear your ugly head again of hasad. I thought I was in control. No. Never. Because process of change, and they say, people, the fear of change, unknown, they say. Human beings by nature are afraid of. The Western psychology uses it. Change is the most difficult thing. Most difficult thing. We know that we should lose some weight and become healthy. We know doctor says eat this so you can be healthy. We know. We followed for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and after too much, go back. You know that Imam Ghazali rahmahullah teaches us how to diet. He says if you want to lose weight, in Ihya Ulumuddin, you don't go cold turkey and that's it, khalas. I usually do go cold turkey for a couple of weeks, and after that, I go to extremely nice roasted turkey. Yeah. Cold turkey and roasted turkey. Pendulum, up and down. Whatever I lost in 2 weeks, water, I'll put on extra more. This is Nafs al-Ammara. He says in gradual process. But you can't do it on your own. You can't administer medicine on your own. You need to be in the hands of a qualified doctor. He looks at you and says, okay, you're getting some rashes. Take this one first. We'll get your liver in control first. Then after that, your kidney is having problem. You're urinating a lot. So we need to control this a little bit. Then after that, you have breathing problem. This is a priority. You're forgetting things. Let's work on this one first. Yes? Unless you trust your doctor, your sheikh, Mashayikh al-Kiram, who are doctors in this field, who were sick themselves. And who were purified their own souls, and they know exactly what you're lacking, and they give you medicine accordingly. You will never be able to come out of the grip of Nafs al-Ammara. Part of our psyche, part of our Nafs al-Ammara tried to pull us back to our old comfortable ways and warn us that if we do not go back, we risk disaster. I see this all the time. No. I need to have this space, this. Otherwise, it'll be a disaster. Anxiety. Khulu'a. Quran says, Inna al-insana, the human being is upon anxiety at all times, losing control, concerned. What's going to happen? When was the trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why do we have to say every day, Hasbi Allahu, La ilaha illahu. Sufficient is my Lord for all my needs. There is none worthy of worship except Him. Alayhi tawakkaltu. I put my full trust in Him. Yeah? وَهُوَ رَبُّ الْعَرْشِ الْعَظِيمِ. What's the first dua you're supposed to say when you come out of the unknown, from your comfort zone? Your best comfort zone is your home. When you're coming out with your left foot, what are you supposed to say? Bismillah and what? Tawakkaltu ala Allah. You're reminding yourself, listen, trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you do this from the heart and you get used to it by saying it and start to believe in it, then as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, the shayateen, the evil ones will say, he's got the full insurance, full cover, we can't touch him, zero excess. Yeah, we won't touch him, leave him alone. He says he's under full protection. You just said, I believe and put my trust in him. Similarly, until we believe and put our trust in our deen, Islam, all perfect life, cure for every disease of human being, we will never be able to get rid of this Nafs al-Ammara, whether you're Muslim or non-Muslim. I look at the outside, what's happening in the world, I said, this particular aspect of Nafs al-Ammara is suffering from, therefore he makes everybody else suffer. I go lots of counseling, people come. I watch my sister, Ya Rabbi. She's going through this. May Allah help. May Allah help. Somebody came to Habib Hussein. Young man. He says, oh, Sheikh, I have a problem, confession. Can you please help me? He says, what's the problem? He says, I commit zina. In Islam, there is no confession. In Islam, you cannot disclose your haram to anybody. It's haram to disclose your haram. You don't go come in the morning and says, I was at the nightclub, I did this. It's haram to say it to anybody. But he's seeking genuine help. If it was us, we would say, what? Get lost. Because we think that we are better than him, remember? And we each time we look at his face, he does haram. We already judged him. But a true sheikh, he said, my brother, is your salat in order? Do you pray 5 times a day? He says, no. He says, let's work on that one first. Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkari wal baghi. Fahsha, one of the categories is zina. If you truly pray, establish your link with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that salat will prevent you from any lewdness. He says, yes, I understand that your shahwa, one of the qualities of Nafs al-Ammara, ghalaba, means he's dominant over you. He's controlling your actions. But the only way to control this is give the right medicine first. Let's strengthen your heart first. Your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. She's not wearing hijab, she's not a Muslimah. Let's work on her salat first. Inshallah, she will. But give her a chance to make the connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. Yes? If you are not the doctor, you will give the wrong medicine. And if you give the wrong medicine, if the person suffers, by law, in Australian law, you'll be sued for damages. One man was so sick, he didn't want to go to the hospital. His eye was a little bit big, what he called sick. His next door neighbor was a vet. He didn't want to go to the hospital, he was lazy. He says, eye is an eye, I go to my vet doctor friend. So he gave him some ointment and he applied on his eyes. Oh, it got better. But after 2-3 weeks, he realized that his one eye was bigger than the other one. And to make it even worse, each time he walks through some green grass, his eye goes and looks at the green grass. He goes and sues the vet. He says, Qadi, Sheikh, each time I go through some green meadows, my eyes are all looking at the green grass. And it became like an eye of a cow. Maha, nice, beautiful eyed cow. Says, well, I need my haqq. He says, you deserve even worse. He says, which aql asks you to get animal medicine when you're supposed to get a human medicine? Nafs al-Ammara is lazy. Nafs al-Ammara is just doesn't want to change. Come, give me something. I want to feel spiritual today. Teach me a dua that will take me to Jannah. Excuse me. Islam is a complete way of life. Where's your salat? Where's your siyam? Where's your zakat? Where's your akhlaq? Where's your personality that you show Islam? Where's your ikhlas? Oh, teach me, Sheikh, how many requests that I have every day. Sheikh, is there a special dua to pass exams? I asked him, have you studied the whole year? No, but is there some magic that can happen that, I'm going to pass in flying colors? That's Nafs talking. Nafs doesn't want to do any hard work. Lazy, but wants quick results. Nafs al-Ammara. Change takes time. We begin with an undisciplined, unfocused, completely confused collection of thoughts, emotions, feelings, actions. Our nafs and pleasure-loving instincts are still powerful forces within us. All too often, nothing seems to be happening as we integrate inner change. Yes, we joined a particular tariqah, tasawwuf. We made bay'ah to a particular sheikh, and we put our name with the, nothing's happening, man. It's been 10 years. Nothing will happen if you don't follow the medicine. Even if you see, if he gives you medicine and if you were to follow, but some changes take time. How long did it take to change a generation of Musa alayhi salam's followers in the desert? 40 years. Sometimes even after 40 years, the older generation did not even change. It takes time. And because ajula, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, human beings always quick, hastens. I want now. Immediacy. Immediately you want something. Right now, immediate gratification. That's not how it works. Change takes years. I don't want to come back to this particular comparison again. The khalwa method, the chilla method. Chilla in Persian means 40. You go into khalwa with the sheikh. We have a particular person, very famous sheikh in our culture. Ashraful Rumi, Qaddasallahu Sirrahu al-Aziz. Young man with his wife, he went to visit his sheikh. They've got a little baby. And the sheikh said, Khalwa, our family will look after your children and wife. Go inside. How many days? 40 days. In the masjid, under the masjid. I've seen in Istanbul, in the old Turkish mosques. There's a section where you can see the feet of the people who are praying, but you're in darkness alone. You have dhikr, certain dhikr that you constantly pound on your nafs. Until nafs gives up. Minimum food, minimum sleep, but constant ibadah. By the medicine that the doctor gives you. 40 days. In 40 days, you lose so much weight. You become all yellow Chinese. Yeah, because you look, he comes out after 40 days. Usually 40 days is really good. He comes and kisses the hand of the sheikh. And the sheikh says to him, MashaAllah, very good. Go back inside. Another 40 days. 24/7, another 40 days. Not communicating, not messaging the wife. How's things going? Is all right? You pay the bills? Yeah. I love you too. None of them, no iPhones, no connection with outside. Except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he came out after 80 days, the second khalwa, the sheikh looked at him, he's completely, mashallah, nur. He kissed the hands of sheikh, he wants to come out, in the word says, go inside, my son. Another 40 days. 120 days of intensive training. But when he came out, subhanallah, words when he speaks, the hikmah that comes from his words, the heart, everybody, non-Muslims become Muslim, what they call animals, the beasts come and try to say they kiss him. Allah purified him. This process called khalwa, and very difficult. It's not everybody's game. In the olden days, this was a common thing. In Thailand, I've seen everybody goes through some monkhood practice. They shave their heads and stay in the temple for sometimes 2 days, 3 days, sometimes 10 days, whatever that is, including the king that passed away. Yeah? In other words, they give up of everything, sometimes for show, but sometimes they do it genuinely. Then after that, they go back to normal life. In Islam, part of tasawwuf, that tazkiyah process, many of the people in each generation used to do this on regular basis. We don't do it anymore. And we read about it, stories. Okay? Enough. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Questions. We've got minus 20 minutes. Questions. Yes. There is a question from the sister. Sorry.
Okay. And once you notice that, there's a slight moment where, oh, I notice and I don't become it. But then what's the next step? I came to you before and you said increase istighfar. And then so my conclusion was, okay, increase your ibadah to increase your taqwa. But then also, you also said gradual process. So for example, if the thing that I'm practicing is laziness, then would ibadah plus a constant effort to gradually practice not lazy, would that be a good start? Or yeah?
It's a very loaded question. Inshallah, next week or next time when we're here, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us, I'm going to make little comparisons between Islamic spiritual psychology, tasawwuf, with the Western concepts of psychology. Various schools and how they failed and how Islam comes on top and where Islam is the only solution. Once we did this, in other words, I'm trying to give you some logical comparisons, then after that we actually go in and look at how this particular process of tazkiyah is practiced in the Islamic world since the beginning. Okay? The various methods and how to, I'll give you some examples, lots of examples. But this is, I'm doing nothing but giving you theory. And you need to find a qualified sheikh, qualified doctor, physician of the heart, and you need to be treated. I cannot tell you, because I'm not a doctor, you've got this disease, and that disease, we need to work on the first. I can't do this. If you're looking at me as a sheikh, I am not a sheikh. Not even a mutashayyikh, not even a pretend sheikh. So this is an area chosen by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and led by those people of barakah. And it happens. And I've seen it hundreds of times. Yes, I can teach you the theory. I can make you understand the necessity of it, the need for change, and the things that we need to change overall to make us better Muslims. But I can never give you the prescription to follow. I can give you general guidelines, but your specific needs, his specific needs, and his is completely different. Because those initial attributes that we talked about, 12, 13, 14, they are at different levels. Only a person whose heart is open can look at you and says, you're suffering from haqd, you're suffering from bukhul, you're suffering from what you call shahwa, you're suffering from hasad. So this is how we cure, and this is the medicine. Yeah? Make sabr. Let's go through primary school first before we begin to write our PhD thesis. Okay? My job is to teach you ABC. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Nobody knows. We look like a Muslim, but we've got no idea. We lost this art. Therefore, we're just like, non-effective people. When Muslims entered into India, India was land of magic. Monkey magic? Tripitaka? Yeah, beyond you? Okay. She's laughing. Muslims came without a single war, confrontation. Can you imagine a land of magic? The Hindu gurus control everything. Muslims came, not as an army, as practicing Muslims who were people of tasawwuf, awliyaullah. When they entered, none of their magic worked on them. And this got the attention of the people. It says, who are these people? That these people are controlling us for years, generations, but who are these? More powerful, simple, gentle-looking people. Clean. And they begin to teach. And India became Muslim. How did Indonesia become Muslim? By war. Did the Dutch Muslims enter and kill all the Filipinos? No. Africa, was it spread by sword? Definitely not. When your inner is glowing, your heart is purified, it attracts the other hearts and begin to change. Sometimes you don't even understand his language, but it has such an impact on your heart that your life changes. You can never explain this with logic. Okay? Sabr, inshallah. Sorry, Haji.
And yeah, with that, that will be the end of both the talk and the question and answer session because we're severely limited by time. Thank you to Sheikh Mahmud for delivering that very motivational lecture. Inshallah, we all got something out of it, which we can use to motivate ourselves to work towards a goal in the future. So right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna eat, I believe. Yep. So males will go first. So we'll just open up the curtain and feel free to start eating. Yeah, we'll also
جزاكم الله
open
خير
up-
الجزاء والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. How are you, handsome?